Okay, hello, hello. I told you guys on the last Zoom, this is going to be a reprisal of the Kitchen Confidence series, and I am freaking pumped because I feel like I went back through all the Kitchen Confidence videos. If you guys haven't, you should. I'm just saying it was a great series, but I'm excited to kind of redo it now when let's just say I have a lot less time to do things. So I think, I think it's been maybe a couple years by now since I've done the Kitchen Confidence series. So I'm really excited to just jump right in, if you can't tell. And going back over the order of how I did things, I think this series revamped, is going to be just a lot more realistic. So, uh, first, before we begin, did anybody tell me in the chat? Anyone remember or watch the? Let me see. I think some of you guys have. I think Becca, you've been with me from then. I don't know if you remember the Kitchen Confidence series when it was actually live, when I did it, when I had an office and it wasn't a nursery. Yeah, my favorite part of that, and what you'll come to find in the coming weeks as we go through it, is that it's all going to be very big on strategy and thinking about the mindset of cooking. I'm not just going to sit here and give you guys like recipes and stuff. I do that every week, mainly on Mondays, sometimes on Tuesdays. But yeah, no, this is going to be dedicated towards how do we make it second nature to throw food together? How do we feel confident to try new things, to make easy, super easy meals actually really tasty? Those things, I think it goes beyond a recipe at that point because I mean, I don't think maybe if you're watching this, listening to the recording, maybe you're someone who like enjoys having recipe only. But like I think cooking on the fly is so much less stressful, especially like during the week when we're working and everything like that. It's good to just not need to read off of something and just know what to throw together. I think there's a whole lot of things calling our attention these days. And I think that what makes it harder to stick to a certain way of eating is if it has to require a ton of thought. And if you're having to put a one in the chat if you agree with this point or you can relate to it. If you're having a bad day and you're pissed off at everything or you're pissed off at yourself, let's say, whatever, have you ever been to the point where you're like, I don't give a shit what I'm going to eat? Like, I don't even want to think about eating. You almost take out that animosity on food because it's like the least convenient thing in your life at that moment. Yeah, like it can be, and it sets us back, it feels unrealistic to stick to certain ways of eating. And that's why we put a lot of focus on like, how are you just going to basically feed yourself? That's the important thing. At the end of the day, no matter, how long I work with clients, I want them to walk away from their time together knowing how to just basically feed themselves. So let's get started. I think keeping yourself stocked. Put a one in the chat if you have ever thought of keeping your groceries stocked as overwhelming. If you ever thought of keeping your groceries stocked as overwhelming. Oh my God, I know I ask every time. You can't hear Angela, right? He's loud. He's just learned how to be so loud. I'm sorry if you can. And it grabbed him. Okay, a bunch of ones. Our fridge is so small. Yeah, well, oh my God, it makes me think of the fridge at when we go to my family's house in Greece. It's like it's so different compared to when we were shopping for our fridge here. We're like, where can we get a big ass fridge? You know? I think about that. I like the smaller fridge better. You like see what you need to see. It's like I feel like, and we'll get into it. I have object permanence on here too, but I feel like there's like less of that if you might have to buy stuff more frequently, but this smaller fridge, it's like in your face more. So bunch of ones here. Yeah. Okay. I think the biggest thing is you want to prepare to have stuff on hand, but shopping and procuring your groceries, it has a heavy time weight. And what I mean by that is it's not actually super time consuming, right? Like you could technically go to the store, pop in and out, let's say an An hour if you're like looking at every single aisle and like it's packed, right? In all actuality, I would assume. I actually never timed myself, but assuming. But in our brains, shopping can be, or just getting, ordering stuff online, even though it doesn't take a lot of time, right? You're sitting at home, you're probably scrolling. So in that time, you could place an order online, right? But the issue is it has a big time wait. The time feels heavy attached to it. It feels like it's going to take you way longer and it's going to take up so much more energy. I mean, given going to the grocery store does take up a lot of energy, but you know what I mean? It feels like it has to be this planned out, ideal situation, or you're like running in after work and you don't even want to think about life. Like you're just like blindly grabbing the bare minimum and just getting home. Either way, having that energy about keeping food in your house, of course, that's adding another layer to food being an overwhelming thing, right? Like it's the energy that we put into getting the food. It's like, oh God, okay, this inconvenience again. I mean, we're not even going to get into the cost of the groceries, right? But like that's the energy we put towards procuring our food. Then how great are we going to feel about utilizing that food throughout the week, right? It's kind of a crazy way to think about it. So I'm trying to go by my notes here so I don't keep you here forever. I think coming up with this system that we have and like it's going to sound like such an oversimplified approach onto how I do this. But this came up a bunch this week. I think I notice it doing this now as long as I have, as we start to get towards the change of the seasons, it's almost like people forget how to feed themselves. If I'm yelling at you, it's because I'm yelling over Angelo. I'm very sorry. So he's like eagerly waiting that bottle. So does it work for you to be someone that has everything super planned, like food wise? And now I'm not talking in an ideal world, like you're suddenly somebody that adheres to it. I'm saying really just take a minute and think about it for yourself. And are you the type of person that comes up with a structure, a strategy, and like plans out every little part of their days? Because there are plenty of people like this and like that works for you. You're able to maintain it easily. You're able to like no issues, right? Consistently. I'm not talking for a week or a month. I'm talking through all types of seasons of life, right? No, it's impossible. No one does that thoroughly. We all kind of want that. I feel like we chase that level of put togetherness, and wake up. Hold on. Give me 1 second. He's going to get situated. I'm going to come back and I can focus and stop screaming at you. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. So I always say, like, if you're not somebody who instinctively and naturally has things planned out to a T and like thrives in that kind of realm, the ship has sailed. I'm not either. I would love to be, but I think that's why we kind of beat ourselves up if we're not consistent with things. When really, if you just have a strategy in place that includes flexibility, you're far more likely to succeed at that, right? Okay. So that being said, what we do is keep it easy, 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 right? I want you to pick a day a week that's your inventory day. And granted, I'm going to tell you an inventory day and a stocking day, and you can make them the same one. You can keep them two separate. But either way, I want you to have an established day of the week that you make your day to check what the hell you have in your house and write down what it is that you would want to still get, right? So you have an inventory day. On this day, you're going to write, and the list that you're going to have, I want you to create kind of like, keep it in your notes on your phone. And I want you to do it as kind of like an outline. The meats, the eggs, dairy, whatever you're doing, the plants, right now we're doing the plant challenge. So I'm trying to stay away from saying like veggies or fruits or whatever. So we're just going to say plants, like come up with categories and make your ideal grocery list where you feel like, okay, for the next week, if I had these things in the fridge, I could throw together meals. Now, granted, remember, I am here to help support you. If you're like, I'm not good at throwing together meals, we'll get there. Right now, we're just focusing on keeping yourself well stocked, right? So, first step is just having the stuff to work with. So having that one day a week that you anchor this inventory to, where you know, okay, I'm just going to use Sundays because it's the most common one. You say, okay, Sunday morning, when I go to get my food in the morning, I'm going to run through my inventory. It can create, you can start to create a routine that doesn't depend on like, you don't have to do it like exactly at a certain time every day. You can make it task based. So let's say you sleep in one Sunday, like you don't have to be rigid with it, but by anchoring it to basic patterns on the same day every week, it's a way to keep you structured. And for those of you who have worked in food at all, I like to think of it like a restaurant. Restaurants have an inventory day where they go and they see what needs to be ordered, what's going to be on specials that week potentially, things like that. And that's how they make their purchases, their orders accordingly, at least the ones I've worked in. So I like to think of it like, I don't know, romanticize a little bit. Anyone in here watch The Bear? But you're like, yes, chef, do your freaking inventory. So do that one day. And then I want you to also think of things you would want to eat that week, but not necessarily meals. Meaning, if you are like, I think I want to try something sweet, I want to make a sugar-free dessert. Well, look up something you would want to make or whatever, and make sure you have the ingredients for it when you land on something. I think I want to make I'm making this up right now. I want to make stew this week. Well, okay, look up what you would need for your stew and make sure you put that on your inventory list. So you don't have to think about it like it with extreme rigidity, but you're starting to think about it as like, what would I like to have on hand? There is flexibility in how you prepare that stuff. Okay. Um, and then also if there are any, with the way that we have to be hormone friendly with carbs, with gluten, whatever. If you're going to be ordering any stuff, you would also want to put that on your inventory list. Like here are the things to log on and order if you're not putting everything through in one place. So this helps with object permanence because object permanence is if it's out of sight, it's out of freaking mind. Put a one in the chat if you have ever bought like two or three of the same friggin' thing because you forget that you actually still have it. And you're just like, damn it. I am guilty. I say this to you guys. I try to follow this advice most of the time, and I do. But I also still have 3 containers of mayonnaise in my freaking refrigerator right now because I swear I was almost out. So the idea is to most of the time do your inventory day and check on things like that, like how much mayo you have, how much ketchup you have, if you're going to use that this week or whatever, and be able to include those things or not include those things so that you save yourself from buying extras. And also, if you see like, oh, okay, I got a drawer. This is why I like frozen personally. But I got a drawer full of vegetables that are going to go rotten this week if I don't make it. Well, you'll make sure that you don't go ahead and buy more vegetables than you need and then end up wasting. 'Cause I say that from, I hate wasting food, but we're all a little bit spicy in here. So it happens. This kind of tries to help keep that from happening often, especially these days. So object permanence, oh, sorry, lost my train of thought here. Inventory day. Have your inventory day. Now, when it comes to ordering groceries versus going and shopping in store, here's the thing. I know it can become almost like for some people, like a pride point where it's like, I should be able to just go to the store and get it. Like it's almost like I don't want to be, it's like taking the elevator one flight up, right? I used to have so much shame about taking the elevator one flight up. And now I'm like, listen, I'm lazy. I don't want to do it. I don't want to walk up the flight. I'm hurting a little already, generally. I'm usually, like I don't have stairs in my house for a reason. So like I don't look like somebody that would necessarily struggle with steps, but unless someone was looking at my postpartum body, but meaning like I'm not using any mobility aids or anything. So I get looks all the time when I take the elevator one floor up. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to do what's best for me so that I can preserve my energy and not needlessly put myself through additional work if I'm not in that place to do that at that moment, just so that I can feel like I'm doing it the tough way. Don't fall into that trap if this ever goes along those lines. Like if you feel it's like lazy to put your order through online or, whatever. It's not. If you're somebody that dreads the grocery store, if you go to the grocery store and by the time you leave, you feel exhausted and you're shot the rest of the night, like maybe it's worth the extra. And I know it sucks these days, but like I don't know. If it's the extra fee, I think it's all about weighing it out for yourself. And if you're having a hard time staying stocked, maybe give it a shot. Plus, your cart gets saved when you place an order online. So it also takes away additional time and thought down the line because, you can of course edit your cart, but you can just upload the cart you had if it has your basics in it, like your dinner meats, your veggies, your frozen veggies, your plants, the eggs, like stuff like that. And then you have the basic format of your typical grocery list ready to go. Also, I've seen that there have been sales online for shop from home that weren't going on in the stores. So I don't know. I don't know how often that happens, but I have caught it a few times. Yeah, like someone said in the chat, Caitlin said in the chat, I have anxiety at grocery stores. It's okay if it's a lot. Like it doesn't, I don't want anyone to feel shame about that because it is extremely overstimulating. And some days our bodies are just not up to it. It shouldn't be a matter of you not getting the nourishment that you need when that accessibility option exists. You know, you don't have to meet a certain threshold of needs to have accessibility for yourself. If you need it at all, it's plenty. That's plenty. Okay. So, decide if you're ordering, if you're shopping, whatever. Now, I said before, you can do both on the same day, but if you find that overwhelming, break it up and have yourself a stocking day. So you have your inventory day and your stocking day. So your stocking day, it's, you're prepared to either place your orders or go and get the stuff that you need. But you did all the planning already, like what you're basically getting, you did that already. So I mean, it sounds like not a groundbreaking concept, right? But having it in our mind separated in that way where it feels like a process we're following, I don't know, there's something about it that helps it stick a little and not feel so overwhelming. So on your stocking day, you want to decide, are you going to go in person? Are you going to order whatever? Are you getting things online that aren't available in store? And this helps you from just having this ever evolving cart full of amazing things that never gets checked out. How many put a one in the chat if you have assembled this fabulous shopping cart on a website before and you're just always perpetually window shopping and just never actually place your order? I definitely have. It's been like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do it, when after bills clear, like I'll do it next week. And then I just forget until the next time I'm curious about it or it pops up on an ad or something like that, right? So the way around that is having your stocking day. That being said, one of my favorite websites for placing orders for this kind of stuff, or actually, sorry, I put a whole thing at the end. I'm not going to jump ahead. I'm going to tell you my favorite website. I'm so sorry, but it's just the wrong timing and I don't want to get thrown off. Okay. So, when it comes to meal planning, don't put meals together ahead of time. And when I say that, I mean, it might sound really good to you in the moment to be like, oh, I'm going to place this with that and this flavor and that. When the time comes, how many people watching the Zoom, how many people have had it where you have it all planned and then the time comes and you are so not in the mood? Like you would rather eat absolutely anything else at that point than the thing you had planned, even if when you planned it, it sounded great to you. All right, that has happened so many times. It's so annoying. So the way around that is don't have the meal planned, have the stuff on hand. Oh, wow, that kind of rhymes. Okay. Look at that. Don't have the meal planned, have the stuff on hand. Jesus Christ. So All we focus on, and again, I'm not saying we're perfect. I can't like, I'm pretty sure 2 days ago, no, yesterday, Nick had to go to the store because we forgot to take stuff out. So this still happens. Okay. But we try to just focus on in the morning taking something out of the freezer for dinner that night. That's it. We don't think of like how we're going to make it. And then we also make sure that we have an array of the base ingredients for different sides that we do. We have those base ingredients available. And then from there, it's just you're flavoring those two things and cooking it. You're figuring, and that's what we're going to get into in this series is like how to cook the things, how to flavor the things. This is the first step, and that is having the things. So, um, what did I put here? The bite builder. If you notice, when we post the ingredients every week, or the recipes every week, right? I know a lot of people love the recipe cards, but if you look at the other info cards that come with that we post with it, there's a process to it. So what I want for you guys, what I want you to do is I want you to go look at the post on the CCA page, and I want you to pull up the Bite Builder formula slide. That is basically you might be like, what the hell is this? I've done Zooms on them, but I think I'm going to integrate it into this Kitchen Confidence series because when people ask me, like, how do you just throw meals together? How do you just know what goes with what? Or how do you cook easily? When I tell you the reason I created that formula is because I've tried to take what the hell I do that's in my head and put it on something for you guys to follow as a guide, right? And that is, you know, you want to think about like how you want to what kind of flavor are you in the mood to eat at that moment? Is it citrusy? Is it Italian? You know, is it like more Asian inspired? Like what kind of flavors are you in the mood for, right? What type of way do you want to cook it? I mean, like if you want to bread and fry something, that's a lot more work than if you want to stick it in the oven or you want to put it in the air fryer. So figuring out those things is in the moment. That's how you decide and just throw meals together that end up being good. And it's based on like what you're in the mood for in that moment. Otherwise, you're gonna have wasted food. You're gonna be door dashing food even though you got a fridge full of food. You know, like it's all human stuff that we do. So rather than trying to be perfect and be like, no, I'm gonna meal prep, just set yourself up for success, keep your food stocked, and then in the moment, and I will go over the details of how, right? But in the moment, you can use that to at least have a good foundation for whatever you're in the mood to eat. Okay. And this is how we build out confidence so food isn't so intimidating to throw together in that way. So I want you to go look at that slide. It will make a lot more sense. Text me if you have any questions about that at all, right? But maybe just try to like say absolutely just F meal planning. It's not for me, but however, we have strategy. Okay. Now, here are some things. I'm going to give you guys some suggestions that help with ordering and things like that, and like where to find things. So, Netrition.com. That is, and those of you who have been with me for a minute, you know I've suggested this, but I have loved Netrition for years. Like I'm talking, I think I placed my first order probably like 2014, 2015. Oh my God, it's like 10 years. Like that's crazy. I wasn't even living with Nick yet when I placed my first order to Netrition. That is how I gotta like tell them this. I feel like maybe probably don't give a shit. Maybe they would want to know. I don't know. But that is how long I have loved Nutrition. So, and the reason is they have so much variety of things that are, if you want sugar free, if you want lower carb, if you want gluten free, if you're dairy free, there are so many allergen friendly foods on Nutrition, all different kinds, pre-made sweets, pastas, breads. It's overwhelming almost how many options there are on there. I spend time just going on there and looking at stuff that's reviewed highly because I don't know. Are any of you guys that are in here with me? Are you like anybody a scent nerd? Do you go on Fragrantica? It's like one of my hyper interests is this website about perfumes. It's called Fragrantica. And they break, if you've ever seen on like perfume videos, they have the notes that they break down and like little graphics and describing the notes. Like you'll know if you see it. It's always the same kind of graphic. That's from Fragrantica. And I love the reviews because these people put so much time and effort into like telling you about these products. And on Nutrition, I have found the reviews to be the same way. Like people will tell you if something sucks or if they love it, like in depth. So, I've also found that Nutrition is a lot less expensive than other websites or in stores a lot of times. Their shipping is super fast. They do shipping like they do like free shipping over a certain amount at various times. And again, I just love the variety. So nutrition.com, the best. I remember back in the day, I want to say they were like this until like 2021. It looked like the sketchiest website. Like it looked like early Craigslist. Like someone made it in a basement somewhere, like and then finally they like revamped it and it's even more amazing now. But okay, I'm enough gushing. I've loved them since before I had a discount code. I don't care if you use it or not. It's only 10%, so it's not even that big. But Mish 10 is the code. MICH 10. I don't care if you want to use it or not. So love nutrition. Some of my favorites, if you saw, I put up the post in Facebook today about it. Some of my favorites are Smart Buns. Smart buns are great. Honestly, I'm amazed that they haven't taken off and they aren't just available everywhere. They're like a good structure hamburger bun. And there's like nothing to them. Like they have like no carbs in them. But the texture is really good. They're gluten free. I like the ones with sesame seeds on them, little extra plant. And just, I mean, I love sesame seeds and I like them on my buns. So, smart buns, I love. What else? Legendary Foods is a brand that has tons. You might see them in stores occasionally, but they have single packs of a lot of the legendary food items, like the little buns or the Pop Tarts and stuff that they make. So that's another thing I like. With a lot of this food, it can get expensive, and a lot of them, it's like you have to buy a whole case just to get it. And I want to spend $40 to know if I hate something or not. So, what I loved about nutrition is a lot of the stuff that they have on there, they will also offer in singles. So it was easy to try out first. What else? Syntrax protein. The brand is what's like Syntrax. Syntrax. I like the nectar protein that they make. They have a bunch of flavors. I'm not big on protein powders and protein drinks. I'm really not. And the reason is because before Syntrax, I never found ones that didn't hurt my stomach. Like I just couldn't stomach them at all. And then one day I was curious because I saw Syntrax had protein in like juice type flavors and they had the single packets. So I was like, I'm not going to spend $40 on a tub of protein that smells like farts and makes me fart. So I'm going to go and try the single packet one. And I forget, I think it was the iced tea flavor. When the hell do you find that? So I got it. I tried it in water. It was watery, if you know what I mean. Like it wasn't creamy protein. And I got their apple flavor and I mixed it in water and it was like juicy. Their peach flavored one. It's like juicy, but it also mixes so well into like yogurt, pudding bases. I've used them in slushies. I've baked them into cookies. Like I've used those powders for everything. And a lot of it's just because I've never bought the big tub. I've always just bought the packets because I like having the variety. So Syntrax protein is a good one I love. That's a good base for like desserts and stuff like that. So I would have those on hand for that. Um, for things for throwing desserts together too, they have a bunch of sugar-free puddings on there. I love that for a good base because you can do like a pudding, crumbled up sugar-free like cookies, um, some whipped cream. Like you can make it really decadent with stuff like that. Chalk Zero and Lily's. I love their sugar-free chocolates. They're more common in stores now than they used to be, but they're on Nutrition as well. Walmart also carries them, which I don't know. Maybe I hadn't checked out a Walmart in a while, but like I feel like I was surprised to see how many sugar-free products they actually carried. The peanut butter ones are like they're so good. Lily's peanut butter chocolate chips. Cannot recommend them enough. They taste like Reese's Pieces. I'm like gonna drool thinking about them. Don't eat a whole bag in a sitting. Just trust me. Just trust me. So what other ones do I love on there? Yeah, check it out, Window Shop. I'm working on creating a better list for you guys. I'm working on the Google Classroom, so that will be available to you as well. You bought them? I didn't know Nick got me them. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay. Woo. Okay, anyway. What other ones do I like? Yeah, I'll update the list and I'll give you because I could ramble on for friggin' ever. If you have any questions, that might be better too. Until I finish yapping. If there is a type of product you would like to have a whatever your baby step is, lower carb, lower sugar, whatever version of, and you want me to make a recommendation, tell me in the chat. Like pretzels or I don't know, whatever, rice, chocolate, like anything you would want to have a replacement for, tell me in the chat. Um, if you're near a Wegmans or a Sprouts, they have the breads that I like that you can use as a base for a lot of things. Like you can make croutons, you can make French toast. You don't have to just use it in its regular format. I like, if you're taking notes, base culture and carbonate, like astronaut, but carbonate. Base culture and carbonate are my breads. I guess they're like honestly, they're good. I like them and they're the easiest ones to find. It's not that I'm like they're my absolute favorites like I was with Smart Buns, but you can find them or if you're near a Wegmans or a Sprouts, they have them. I think someone told me that their Whole Foods also carries it. Um what was the store someone said? I forget. There was one other store that's not a popular chain around here that had carbonate, but look, keep a lookout for it. Um, is that all with my ramblings? Yeah, so basically, have your inventory day, take it seriously, anchor it to a day of the week or an activity if you can that you do every week, like eating when you first wake up or anything. Um, Hint, hint, if you're not eating when you wake up. But, and then come up with your inventory list, decide what you would like to also throw in there for the week, you know. Also good if you save recipes throughout the week and you do want to end up making one, like save it in a folder and then on your inventory day, go and pick one of them and include the ingredients in your list if you would want to try making it. This way it doesn't just sit in your saved folder forever, you know? Magic. And then once you have your inventory all picked out, you have your stocking day where you decide if you're going to order it, you're going to shop it, but that's the day you procure the stuff. And then during the week, you're going to use those things, have them on hand, and throw them together in a way that is not overwhelming, which will be the topic of the next Zoom. We're going to talk about core cooking techniques and how to easily do them, like as little effort, as little time as possible. Here's what happens when you grill an item, air fry an item, saute an item, and how it impacts texture and flavor and all of that. That's what we're going to be focusing on the next call. So we'll piece it together with this one and you'll have all your ingredients that you would need for it. So any questions before we jump? I'm going to end the recording. Tell me in the chat.